Hello and welcome to Cannabis in Your Clinic. My name is Lisa Hanfileti, and if you watched the first version of this video, I have a surprise for you. This is take 2. The reason is because, as I explained in the initial version, there are a lot of regulations as to what you can and cannot say about CBD and about cannabis. Even though I thought I was being extremely careful and in compliant with all the rules, it turns out that I had broken a couple rules. And so I am redoing this video with proper edits so that I am compliant. I still want you to have the information, and I still encourage you to contact me. Probably privately is a better idea than doing it on this video, although you can still certainly give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. The point is, I want to be able to give you this information and fire you up and give you some sense of power as to what you can control and still be very compliant and follow all the FTC regulations and that kind of stuff. So without going into a whole bunch of detail as to what I did wrong, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure this video is correct and re-upload it so you can enjoy this information. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you towards the end of this video where I'll pick back up with some resources that are in compliant with what the regulations are. All right, onward. Hello and welcome to this video presentation of Cannabis in Your Clinic. I had hoped to do this presentation live, but decided that at this stage it's better to keep a little bit closer control on where this video gets posted. So because of that, I want to at least give you an opportunity to ask me questions. The reason why I wanted to do it live is because I like getting feedback in real time and answering your questions in real time. Because I can't do that, I just want to invite you and encourage you. Go ahead and leave questions or comments, any kind of feedback below this video. And in a slide or two here, I'll also give you my contact information if you want to contact me privately. So this presentation has 3 parts. The first part, I'm just going to tell you why I'm so fired up and why I think you should be fired up. The second part of this presentation is just elucidating the problem, like really showing you where we are right now with the cannabis industry and for us as healthcare practitioners. And the third part, I'm going to show you the solution that I've come up with, and I'm going to invite you to join me in this solution. So who am I? My name is Lisa Hanfileti, and I started Acupuncture Business Academy in 2011, but I've been teaching acupuncturists who want to diversify their income and add online resources since 2007. The more I learn about marketing, the more I learn about business. In fact, the learn I more about traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, the more I keep saying I know nothing. And it's my way of kind of telling you my disclaimer, which is, yes, I'm going to provide you with a great deal of information today, but you still need to do your research, do your due diligence, make sure you're speaking to professionals and checking out whatever kind of regulations there are in your state or in your country before you make any major changes. You can always contact me through Facebook at lisa.hanfileti, and my email address is lisa@pointsoforigin.com. But as I said earlier, the easiest way for you to get quick answers from me is going to be to just post below this video in the comment section, and I'd appreciate it you giving me a thumbs up while you're at it too. So let's get started here. You may recognize this. This is our little banner in Acupuncture Business Academy private Facebook group, and it really speaks to something I want to say to all acupuncturists. First, I just want to encourage you. I mean, acupuncture has never been more accepted than it is right now at this time in history. I mean, it's so popular that physical therapists want to do it, right? They're doing dry needling, and MDs want to do it. They have their own physician training program for acupuncture. Massage therapists want to do it. They're doing gua sha. Chiropractors want to do it, and they do all those things, right? They do everything. There's so much need for us out there, and we should be embracing our role. We should be owning it. I think that we have a tendency to run or to hide, and I think that's from the history of acupuncture where it hasn't been accepted, or maybe our own family members have questioned what we're doing. And so I just want to say, you know, we own this. We got this. We are so positioned right now to provide help and guidance to people who are in pain. I mean, look at the opioid crisis right now. We can help so many people. So I just want to encourage you to hold your head high and own it. Own that you're an acupuncturist. Own that you believe in holistic medicine. You know, we're a completely different breed than most healthcare practitioners. We don't just work a 9-to-5 job and then we're done. I mean, we live holistic medicine. At the end of the day, we're still believing in who we are, that we're a part of nature and part of the environment. We have this ripple effect on everybody. So I'm honored to be among this group of people. And I just want to say high five to each and every one of you. I know you've made sacrifices, but we're here for a reason. And I believe we deserve to be compensated and make a very good living while we're here providing the medicine that we're providing and the guidance to other people that we're providing. So that's my cheerleading speech, okay? We got this. So why am I doing this? There's a lot of things that have happened in my life in the last probably 5 years. And I'm going to go through some of those personal stories today. But I have a pretty darn big why as to why I started looking at medical marijuana initially and more recently into CBD products. This is one of the reasons. Everywhere I go right now, this is what I see. In pet stores, this is my pet store right down the street from me. CBD is here. I go into restaurants. This is Slappy Cakes in Portland. If you guys have ever been there, add CBD to any drink. Yeah. This is a spa right near me where they do massage. For $25 more, you can add CBD oil to any massage. I want to just point out over here, if you see this, you notice the potential benefits right here. I'm not going to say what they are. You can read them, but I'm not going to say what they are. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. This is my phone, a picture from my phone where I'm getting advertisements to have massage with CBD oil. This is a patient of mine. He gave me permission to take his picture. He came in with a great big pot leaf on his shirt. It's everywhere. This is the AARP magazine that came out in September. There's a huge spread in this magazine. I have it here. Yeah. If you ever get a chance, you should read through it, because this is the information that's being told to the majority of my patients. So my patients tend to be in the senior age range. So it's important for me to know exactly what they're being told. But you can see 33 states have legalized cannabis. We've got questions here. Is it legal? Where is it a crime? Can you get CBD in the drugstore? Is it remedy or fed? How's it sold? Is it safe? These are all actually really good questions. But if you delve into this particular spread, you'll see that there's a lot of it is personal, anecdotal information from people who've used it and really had some significant changes in their life. Speaking of significant changes in their life, does anybody recognize this? Actually, here's a cleaner version. This is a 3 ml syringe, and it's a black tarry substance. This is called RSO, otherwise known as Rick Simpson oil. So this is actually in my possession as we speak. This is what led to a $3,689.67 mistake. And it started when my husband, Peter, was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And we started searching for something to help him with his tremors. And if you look into any of the research, you'll find that Parkinson's, along with seizures, comes up as something that cannabis can be very effective in treating. So I started trying to figure out where I could get a hold of medical marijuana. Now, I live in Washington State. It was legalized here. But still, trying to get good information is not very easy. But I found a friend that I trusted, who had a friend that she trusted, who actually made his own Rick Simpson oil, RSO. And so we wanted to try this out. So I got this syringe, and Peter had tried it several times in the evening, at night. He'd go to bed and try it. Well, one day, nice sunny Saturday, I'm out getting my hair cut, and I get a phone call. Actually, I got several calls. I didn't answer them because I was getting my hair cut. And then when I had a minute, I checked my phone. It was Peter. I called him. He says, "Lisa, you got to help me. I think I'm having a stroke." It's like, what? So I go racing home. I was about 10 minutes away. And I asked him a few questions. He sounded really weird. So I said, I'm calling 911. I'll be there as soon as I can. I get there. I go upstairs. He's in the bedroom. What's going on? I start talking to him. He's acting really strange. And then he tells me that he took some of this RSO. And I started laughing because I knew right away, this has THC in it. And I knew he was just high, but he did not know what it felt like or what this, what it was like to be high. So I realized that I had already called 911. The paramedics had just pulled up. Fire truck had just pulled up. 5 huge guys are coming up the stairwell to check on Pete, thinking he's having a stroke, because that's what I told him on the phone. And before they got there, I said to Pete, just whatever you do, don't let him take in the ambulance. I'll take care of you. You just have to come down. You're fine. So that was our agreement. But what happened is when the paramedics got there, I told them what had happened. I showed them the syringe. And, clearly they were used to this. This wasn't the first time this kind of thing had happened. The problem was that Pete's blood pressure had gone way up and his pulse rate was way up. And that was mostly because he was terrified. He thought he was having a stroke. So we ended up having to go to the ER. So the ER expenses were, the ambulance ride was $1,370.67. The hospital ER visit was $1,959. The ER physician services were $360. For a grand total of $3,689.67, which of course came out of our pocket because our deductible is, astronomical. So that was my experience with the THC side of cannabis. That was my last experience with it because it was a big realization for me, especially if I was researching this, thinking that at some point I might be able to help patients get a hold of what they needed for their specific conditions. So I tell you that story, I'm going to come back to it, but I tell you that story because I have a personal stake in finding out how to use this stuff, not just for helping patients, but for my own family. I have my 87-year-old mother who lives with me. She's got arthritis. She's got cognition issues, memory loss. She has anxiety, all kinds of stuff. So my interest in understanding cannabis is multi-tiered, multi-layered. It's not just about a business decision for my practice. It's really about helping my family. If we go back to that article in the AARP magazine, while they talk about medical marijuana, they also talk about CBD. And here's something that I want to point out to you. What they say is, if you are interested in CBD, go ahead and consult your doctor. Well, what the hell does any doctor know about CBD? This is this kind of stuff that drives me crazy. We are the healthcare practitioners that are trained in herbal medicine. Cannabis is in our materia medica. Now, any medical board can say it's not, but it is. We all know that. Currently, CBD is classified as a nutritional supplement, and that can work for or against us. If you look at your scope of practice, the scope of practice in Washington includes nutritional counseling. So the way I read that is it is part of my scope of practice. You need to decide for you. You have to look at your scope of practice in whatever state you're in, and you need to decide whether or not that comes under your scope. There's something else I want to point out here. It says the cannabis industry watchers predict the CBD market could hit $22 billion by 2022. So less than 5 years from now, we're talking about a $22 billion industry. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the economics in just a minute, but people have called the cannabis industry the greatest wealth transfer that we'll see in our lifetime. Millionaires, billionaires are going to be made in this industry and are being made already in this industry. And it's just getting started. And that's why there's so much confusion about where we fit in all of this. So having gone from looked at medical marijuana to CBD, this is what has started happening next. And this bugs the shit out of me. I'm being marketed to by my own companies So companies that I'm part of, supplement companies, are now sending me flyers saying, hey, look what we got. We have all these hemp oil products. Now, notice they don't even have the guts to call it CBD oil. Or maybe they're just being smart. Which one is it? I hate the fact that I have to try to figure this out. And then they're showing me these products that have this Vesisorb technology. See this little thing, this proprietary. Now, why the hell do you need some sort of proprietary technology to help an oil absorb? It's maddening. So now there's all these different brands, right? Oh, now we've got curcumin. We're going to add that to hemp oil too now. It just drives me crazy. So what they're saying is, Lisa, I want you to use your good graces with your patients. I want to leverage off of the relationship that you have built with your patients so you can sell our products. And we'll give you $5, $10, $15 a bottle for you to do that for us. Okay, so you go do that. And then I take all the risk, right? It's annoying. So now, oh, Lisa, we want you to also sell these hemp products. Look, we're going to call it plant-based protein now too. So not only do you get this hemp, which you now have to translate the CBD and the hemp, you have to make that connection for us to your patients. And now we want you to sell them these little treats too. Look, oh yeah, hemp, yeah. Go ahead and sell these. Okay, you can see I'm pissed. I'm pissed because I feel like we're just like sitting ducks, and they're saying, here, you go sell this stuff to your patients. We're going to leverage off of you. And those are just a few that I'm showing you. There are other ones that I've seen here. So you get it, right? You get this. This feels wrong to me. So I took my anger. And also the other thing that I haven't said to you is that every single day in my clinic, I get people asking me about CBD oil or telling me that they tried it and it didn't work, or they tried it and it changed their life. And every single time I started asking them, hey, where'd you get that? Where'd you get your CBD oil? I got it from the grocery store. I got it from the gas station. Oh, a friend of a friend makes it. And listen, I started looking at finding good quality CBD oil. I only looked locally. I thought I want to support a local business, a nice local organic farm. I actually went to the farmer's market. I asked them questions. Here's the deal. Here's what I've learned. Hemp, when you harvest it, is very susceptible to mold. You have to be very careful with the harvesting and the manufacturing. They're susceptible to bacteria, molds, contamination. And although I love local companies, and I think they're fantastic companies that make good quality CBD oil, if I was going to be recommending it to my patients, I'm going to show you here in a minute. I went through a checklist of 9 things that I came up with that I needed the company and the manufacturing process to be able to meet in terms of criteria. So I don't want to scare you away from local companies, and I'm going to show you what the criteria are. But I decided that for my patients and for my business, so the other aspect of this was a business decision, that I wanted to go with a big ass company that had a big ass budget, that had the mindset to do third-party testing to make sure there's no chemicals, there's no bacteria, there's no mold, and really monitored the manufacturing process. So I went ahead and I came up with this checklist for finding high-quality, uncontaminated, potent CBD oil from a reputable company. These 9 criteria I actually started emailing to my patients to let them know this is what they needed to look for until I found the company that I was comfortable with. If you want me to email you actually exactly what I email to my patients, just let me know in the comments below. So these are the 9 criteria. So first of all, as I said, I want the CBD oil. I'm talking about CBD oil that you consume. So this is a consumable product, something you put in your mouth, as opposed to a topical. The topicals have a different standard. So the FDA doesn't care if you are selling topical CBD ointments and things like that, but they do care if you're selling something consumable, because then it becomes a food product and they have regulations over that. So I figure I want to find the company that's going to meet all 9 of these criteria for both topical and consumable. But right now I'm talking about CBD oil that you would put in your mouth. So I want the company to post third-party testing on their website and verify that every single batch is free of contaminants. And actually, there's some really great companies that do this. Want to make sure that they verify with their testing that it's below the legal limit of 0.3% THC. Want to make sure that they use a CO2 extraction method instead of a method that involves chemicals and solvents that can stay in the oil and then get in the body and, of course, cause other problems. Remember, I want to use this for my husband who's diagnosed with Parkinson's. The last thing I'm going to do is give him a product that's got hexanes and chemicals and things in there that are going to destroy or harm him in any way. Want to make sure that the oil is full spectrum. So that means it comes from the entire hemp plant, so the stem and the leaves and the buds and everything, as opposed to just being an isolate or one little, just the CBD itself. And in this way, it contains all of the cannabinoids and all the phytonutrients and all the other things that we don't even know about, actually, that are in the hemp plant and work together. And if you've studied CBD oil, if you studied the endocannabinoid system at all, then you're familiar with this term called the entourage effect. And all it means is that what they found is that CBD alone, so an isolate alone, has a certain amount of effects in the body. But when you combine it in the whole hemp plant with all of the other cannabinoids in there and all these other things that we're still discovering, it has a much more powerful and broader range of an effect. Because there are receptors in the brain, there are receptors in every system in the body, the digestive system, the musculatory system, all the different systems in the body. We have these receptors that bind to the CBD and all the other cannabinoids. So it has a much stronger effect when everything is together, as opposed to just taking one little component out. And that makes perfect sense to me. I want to make sure that companies actually tell you how much CBD there is per serving. So 10 milligrams CBD per serving is the minimum that you want, because you don't want people wasting money. Anything less than a 500 milligram bottle of full spectrum CBD is really not going to be enough for most people with chronic or severe issues. And I always remind patients that the size of the bottle has nothing to do with the concentration of CBD. And in fact, sometimes that's when they add fillers, which I'm going to get to in a second here. Make sure that the hemp plants come from an FDA compliant farm using organic processes. Now, I say the term organic processes because currently there is no certification for organic CBD. Not even sure there's a certification for organic hemp yet. It's just too soon. There will be, but there isn't. So if somebody has written on their bottle that they have organic CBD oil, it's just not true, because there is no certification for that yet. Now, they might be using organic processes, and then they should just say that rather than be misleading. You want to make sure that there aren't any chemicals, pesticides, and that kind of stuff used in the growing of the hemp. Make sure that it's non-GMO and that there aren't any other harmful agents in the soil. So a lot of companies, in order to lower the price of the hemp, will get their hemp from China or from other countries. And, not that there's anything wrong with these other countries, but the standards may be different. And the shipping can be an issue, because again, if the hemp, when it is harvested, is not protected, it can grow mold. So that's a concern if you're having it shipped from another country. You want to make sure that in the manufacturing of the CBD, again, that there's no mold or bacteria that start growing. You want to make sure that there aren't any added fillers or unnecessary ingredients. I just don't understand why you'd get CBD from the whole hemp plant and not just put it in the hemp seed oil, which we already know has some great, omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, all these great spectrum of fats in there. Why not just use that? Instead, what a lot of times people will do is include coconut oil or MCT oil and try to promote that as like an added value, when in fact, those things can be purchased separately and taken separately. They're not an added value. And glycerin or water, those things don't make sense to me either, unless you're just trying to dilute it or fill it up. And then lastly, you want to make sure that whatever company you purchase from, that they're so confident in the quality of their product that they offer you a money-back guarantee. So those are the things that I found in doing my research were important. Currently, Actually, I don't know what it is currently. This is as of March of 2019. There were 13 companies that the Hemp Authority awarded their seal of good manufacturing to. And it's actually really difficult to meet the criteria from the Hemp Authority, which is the only body right now that really looks closely at hemp farms and how they do growing and harvesting and manufacturing. So of these 13 companies, you could go to any one of these and you would get an excellent quality product. So I can say that with quite a bit of confidence. But my criteria personally, as a business owner and as a pissed off acupuncturist, I wanted also to make sure I was getting the best business deal. All right. So I'm asking questions about how am I going to profit? Honestly, that's what I'm interested in. How do I be a smart business owner here? Knowing that I'm going to get good quality oil from any of these companies, which company is going to support me and allow me to make the most amount of money? I'm going to remind you that this is big, big business. This is CBD sales. This is not medical marijuana. Okay, so medical marijuana is a whole other category, and I'll explain why in a minute. This is just CBD, CBD oil, CBD liniments, and all those other CBD edibles, I guess. In 2018, it was a $390 million business, according to the Hemp Business Journal. This is projected to be, by 2022, so less than 5 years from now, I've seen it as high as $45 billion, but Brightfield Group says $22 billion. So I just want you to take a minute and realize how much money is changing hands right now and how fast this is growing. I mean, if we looked back, this is kind of like a Facebook or a Google or, an Uber when they first just got started. This is huge, and it's in our sphere. It's in our wheelhouse. So let me make this a little clearer. This is how I see it. This is my little drawing. So here we have a product, CBD oil, that consumers want. Demand is off the charts. And consumers are fairly educated. There's a lot of confusion, but they're very willing to try this. They're not so much afraid of it. There's just a little bit of education that has to come into it, but the demand is huge. And let's look at this a couple different ways. I mentioned the opioid crisis before. So people are trying to find something that they can take instead of opioids. So here we have this product, it's in huge demand. And then we have this market that is experiencing explosive growth, not just in the United States, but all over the world. There are countries, one after the other. I mean, almost every few days you find another country that's opening up to hemp and CBD and medical marijuana. But we have a government that's a little bit tricky right now. The legal environment suggests caution, and it can be very confusing. And it's not just the federal government, it's state government, and it's our licensing boards. And so there are some tricky things to try to navigate. And that's where I feel like we should stay away from. Again, this is Lisa's personal opinion. This is where I think we should stay away from the whole medical marijuana. And what happened with Peter when he took that RSO oil and had that, basically a bad trip, I don't want to be in a position where I'm recommending medical marijuana and I'm responsible for a patient having that kind of reaction. So anything with THC, I am not touching, I'm not advising, even though I believe medical cannabis to be very, very beneficial, medicinal. I personally, as a healthcare provider, do not want to be involved in a conversation with a patient about that. CBD oil, I see very differently. Again, the classification, if they're going to tell us it's not an herb, okay, then it's a food. Then I feel very confident with nutritional counseling and letting my patients know about it. The FDA feels a little bit differently about all this, by the way. I'll explain that in a minute. On top of this little diagram, I have us as healthcare practitioners. We're acupuncturists, we're herbalists. I believe we should be the leaders in this whole conversation. Where are we there is this huge vacuum. There's nobody. I've looked, there's acupuncturists who are teaching about the benefits of CBD. They're teaching about the endocannabinoid system. They're doing an awesome job to educate patients and other people. But nobody, none of us are out there. I don't see an organization. I don't see our board members. I don't see anybody out there saying, showing how we can lead this whole conversation and helping patients to educate them. You know, there's no white paper, there's no policy statement out there saying this is where we stand on CBD oil and giving us permission to help our patients find good quality CBD oil and showing them how to use it. And that, to me, again, it pisses me off, in part because there's so much money changing hands right now. And if there's ever a time, is there ever a place? I mean, is this not the perfect storm, like the perfect trifecta of an herb that we understand and know about, and it's in our, you know, it's in our realm, and we have this market trend, this explosive growth, and it's, you know, our patients are asking for it. It's just, to me, it's inconceivable that we're not out there as business owners making money too. So that's kind of where I am. I'm going to try to take a breath. Hopefully you see this too. So here's the thing. The FDA does not allow us to make any medical claims about CBD oil. And I think this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because patients will come in and say, you know, I've got arthritis. Do you think CBD oil will help with that? Well, we're not allowed to make any kind of connection between CBD oil and a diagnosis. So you can't use words like that. And what I tend to say is, I use the research. There's a lot of research that shows that CBD is an excellent anti-inflammatory, and that it regulates the microbiome, and it binds receptors in the brain. So I say that stuff. And then I tell them, my recommendation is for you to use the Google and go ahead and Google CBD oil and see what comes up. I have patients who tell me what they've experienced. They're allowed to say all day long any diagnosis and what they've done, because that's them saying how their experience. So they're allowed to do that. But I, as a healthcare practitioner, I'm not allowed to make any kind of claim, any kind of medical claim of what CBD oil can do. So you should not be doing that either. So you do need to be really careful. One of my ways around this is, hi, it's Lisa Hanfileti again, and I'm back here because this is where I had to edit out the end of this video. This is where I went through some of the compliance training, what the FDA allows us to say, and I have found what I believe is a very creative way and perfectly legal way to provide information to patients so that they can access high quality CBD that meets all the requirements that I mentioned earlier, all those 9 different criteria that I use for selecting company and products, and still keep me legal and out of the crosshairs of the FTC or the FDA or the company that I'm working with. So hopefully this information was useful to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You can find me on Facebook, just Lisa Hanfileti is my personal profile, or you can email me at lisa@pointsoforigin.com. Or please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Healthy Business Tech, and I'll be going through not only stuff on CBD, but I also have a whole course on how you can diversify your income streams by leveraging your knowledge and using the internet to your benefit. So hopefully this was helpful to you. I appreciate your comments, your feedback, your thumbs up, your shares, all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys are doing great, and I appreciate you taking the time to check this out. You have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.